Celebrating 10 years of trailblazing in ground support, Exceed marks a decade as your leading partner in ground support equipment leasing. At the forefront of both short-term and long-term leasing solutions, Exceed adapts to your unique operational needs. Whether you're ramping up for peak season or planning for long-term growth, we provide the right equipment to keep your operations running smoothly. This anniversary, we renew our dedication to empowering your ground operations with efficiency and innovation. With Exceed, you're equipped for success today and prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. Exceed, driving excellence on the ground year after year. Explore more at exceedgse.com.
Hello, this is Michael Biaggi.
This is Josh Smith.
I'm Brian Yoder.
This is Justin Brennan, and you're listening to the GSE Podcast.
All right, welcome to the GSE Podcast. I'm Matt Weitzel, and I'm here with Daniel Burtis from Unifi. How's it going, Daniel?
Oh, we're doing great. It's great to be down in Florida in the middle of winter rather than Colorado.
Yes. Yeah. We're here at JBT headquarters. They were nice enough to let us use their conference room to record this special podcast. You have some stuff on the line that we just went and saw.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of that equipment is going out to Canada.
Yes, and they're ready for it.
I bet they are. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, man. This is great. This is going to be a great episode. Very excited about it. So I guess let's start here. So what's your title at Unifi, and what are your core responsibilities?
I'm the senior GSE buyer for procurement. And so everything within our 200 plus contracts, whether it be new equipment needed for new contracts, leases, replacement, refurbishment, any type of GSE need that we have in any of our stations, I'm the main lead buyer for that equipment.
That's a lot of responsibility.
We're around 10,000 pieces right now. And I think our current count is 211 or 212 stations.
Wow.
So it's spread out.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. And you're based out in Denver.
Yes. Yeah. I'm out of Colorado, but our office is, of course, down there in Atlanta. The rest of the procurement team's in Atlanta. I'm the only one that's fully remote.
Oh, okay. So that begs the question. So how did you get into GSE? Like, how what's your story? How'd you get into this messed up industry that we all are in?
You must have saw me sitting on my porch after the first week in GSE with my head in my hands, wondering what I've done to my life.
We've all had that moment. It's fine.
Well, I started out as a mechanic pretty early off.
Okay.
I worked in a Chrysler dealership, became an ASE certified technician, did a little bit of race car work. And that was, in my early 20s. And from that point forward, I'd always had my hands on something mechanically, whether it was building maintenance, residential, commercial remodeling, something along that line. I've always had that aptitude and stayed kind of in that sphere of a general utility mechanic, whether it was for production factories or something along that line, or all the way down to hotels. And I was working in Branson, Missouri at a hotel and had got to know a couple people in Wichita, Kansas. And they were working for DGS at that time. And they desperately needed help with their equipment. And after living in Branson for about a year and a half, I realized that wasn't the right city for me. They had a regional manager, a GSE regional manager that showed up one day and called the entire operation in and just said, do any of you people know anybody that might know how to work on this stuff? And so one of my friends, she raised her hand. She said, I think I know somebody that could work on that. And so I came out and interviewed 2 days later. And 2 weeks later, I was in Wichita at ICT. Walked into an empty bag room with a pile of tires, and that's where I started, around 15 out of 18 motorized pieces down.
My gosh.
And I'd never even seen it before.
Yeah.
So it was all needing to be transferable at that point. And as soon as they saw a mechanic walk out onto the ramp, well, this is down, that's down, that's down. It's like, give me 2 minutes. I don't even know what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the first thing we walked up to was like a GPU. And they said, this isn't working. It's okay, great. What is it?
Yeah. What is it? What is the function of this thing? It's a box.
And the regional I had it at that time, it did not come from GSE. He didn't have any mechanical background. So he just said it's a GPU. I said, well, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I literally had to go home to and look on Wikipedia. Oh, GPU, ground power unit. Okay. So it's a diesel motor with a Jenny on it. Got it.
Yeah.
That's where I started in GSE.
Man, and what year was that?
Was 11, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I started in Wichita and then I transferred to Colorado Springs and became a skilled promoted up to skilled mechanic, then skilled TDY mechanic, which put me out with the regional team. And we began to see the condition of the shops and the environmental problems and the training problems. So then I stepped up into a role to do that. And then I stepped up to GSE regional manager for, I think, 4.5 years. And then eventually just came over a couple of years ago to procurement. So procurement became a very, very good fit by that time.
Well, yeah, I mean, you understand the equipment inside and out.
Yes.
And you can see what equipment works the best and buy it from the best and make sure the fleet is up and running.
Well, and I can't get buffaloed on the phone by salespeople either.
No, you can't. No, sir, you can't. So.
And what's the great thing is a lot of the people in the industry on the sales side are all people I've dealt with before, people I've already had relationships with. And well, like Javier.
Yeah, from Exceed.
We were on a one-to-one basis back when I was TDY.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we'd solve it out on the phone, whether it was my station or somebody else's station or one that I ended up managing.
Yeah.
I'd just give Javier a call, tell him what's going on. So, sort out what the issue was and parts are on the way.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you already know all the players in the industry. You've been around for a really long time.
I know a few folks.
You know a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Unifi and talk to me about how you all decide what piece is going where. Is that more of a timing thing, or is that keeping a fleet standardized for a per city thing? So, you'd like to keep only JBT pushbacks in Charlotte, or it doesn't matter. Like we're starting up Charlotte tomorrow and I just any pushback I can get. How does that work for Unified? Like, how do you build that out?
Well, the answer is yes. That is our goal always, is to try to centralize equipment in locations.
Okay.
We don't want to give a mechanic 5 different types of bag tractors to work on.
Exactly.
Problem is a lot of our equipment that we currently have out there, we inherited 91 stations a while back. So we had to adopt the equipment that was already in there. And so we do have quite a mix out there, unfortunately. But we have Andy Alexander in place as our strategy manager.
Andy's been in the industry for...
Yes, long time, over 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
And so Andy and I work very close together, and we do everything we can to approach that centralization of equipment types.
Okay.
So it's not always, well, we want this type of equipment everywhere. We really try to focus it down to the local, because undoing 10,000 pieces of equipment and give the same in every type of location, it's just not going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
But we have to strategize going forward as to put as much of that in place as possible. The other element there is the amount of time I have to get a piece into contract, which is desperately quick.
Yeah.
And that affects it a lot. So I'm probably Andy's biggest frustration. It's because I've got to make the contract on time and he's trying to centralize the fleet, and I try to accommodate him as much as I can. Sometimes I just got to put in what I can get.
Yeah, for sure. And then what do you see what's happening with electrification in the industry? I know that there's obviously large talk about going electric. Some say it's 2025. Some say it'll never happen. What are you all seeing at Unifi? And then what are your plans as far as making sure that your fleet is ready to go electric when we finally all decide that we're there and the infrastructure is there?
Well, we actually jumped into that about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get ahead of the curve, because the lead times for electric equipment is very long right now. And again, Andy, my boss, Ivo Jansik, and me have worked pretty hard on that, trying to get that ball rolling, especially in California.
Yeah. So
we've already implemented quite a bit of electric on the way, and we probably got about 50 pieces that we've already put in. So our plan is to start with the states that are going to require it first.
Okay.
And there's different veil programs and different things out there with certain airports that are promoting and supporting individual airports on their efforts. And so we're definitely tagged into those. San Diego's probably our biggest one. We have a 3-phase program out there to where the first year we put in like 20 pieces of electric. This year we're going to put in around 15, and then next year we'll wrap the program up. So we're going to phase in as much as we can. The biggest problem and challenge out there is the infrastructure, though. A lot of airports aren't ready for it. The technology's there, especially with the batteries. They've made some very large leaps forward. There's been good production on recycling and getting that in place. But the problem is the airports. And every airport's its own animal when it comes to how it's plumbed, how it's wired, accommodating what they can't. And so what we really need is types of equipment that can support electric GSE that we can plug into existing systems.
Okay.
It's not really a huge gap right now. And there are manufacturers that are working on those types of pieces of equipment, but I believe that's probably going to be the big game changer very shortly. There's a lot of electric, a lot of people are wanting to put in, but there's no place to plug it up, to make it simple.
Yeah. So what do you think about these solutions that, I've kind of seen them at, especially the expo. There's a couple different solutions out there of a basically battery on wheels, or, JBT has the amp cart.
Yes.
That has a gen set on it, and you can charge multiple vehicles. Do you see that as being a bridge for the short term?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a lot of our stations are very small, but most of them have bridges. So these mobile battery carts that you can just plug into bridge power, I think are going to save the day on our way to where we need to be with electrical infrastructure.
Okay. Gotcha.
My personal opinion.
No, yeah, that's the reason you're on the podcast, is for your personal opinion. So, yeah.
I won't have time to, let's put it this way, I won't have time to wait for the airports to figure out when they say that they want electric equipment and I've got to get it in there. There's generally not enough time to get the infrastructure questions and challenges solved.
Exactly.
We need this in there in 90 days. And I'm going to need solutions at the ready for issues like that.
So the equipment that is, like, let's say, moving from San Diego out because you're bringing in new electric stuff, does that go in and fill in the gaps for other fleets across the nation, like that you're trying to, like equipment that's going down or whatever you're replacing? Or are you selling off that equipment? Like, what are you doing with that equipment?
At this point in time, we don't sell off any equipment. It goes into our refurb board, does get reutilized.
Yeah. Okay.
Based on condition.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're not giving away a tow bar at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what do you think about just kind of talking about electric, and now let's move into hydrogen? Like, is that a solution that you see as being something the industry should move towards? Or like,
Yes.
Where's your head at with that?
Well, I went and saw a Doosan forklift that was hydrogen and its system in Georgia, and I was extremely impressed with it. Just the simplicity of it, the renewability of it. Again, it's another infrastructure issue, but I think the technology is definitely there. And the water that comes out of it that they use for the process of cracking hydrogen is perfect to put right into a floor scrubber or anything like that because it's mineralless.
Oh, okay.
And so even its byproduct has benefits. I think it would be a fantastic solution. And it's funny you bring that up because just the other day in a particular city, Andy got a phone call about having to go to alternative fuels.
Okay.
And we're not LP, not CNG. That means flex fuel or hydrogen pretty much. And I don't know anybody that's putting flex fuel into GSE right now.
Yeah.
So this might be a perfect opportunity for some manufacturers to really explore hydrogen. I think it would be a great renewable resource for GSE.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where all that goes, because it's not like electric, where right now all the manufacturers have electric equipment, right? And we're waiting on the infrastructure.
Yes.
We're waiting on both at the moment in GSE, where we don't have a manufacturer making anything hydrogen and we don't have any infrastructure. So
Correct.
it's going to be interesting to see who jumps on that train to start creating hydrogen GSE when there's not any infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, and at least with electric too, you can get an electric charger pack and wire it into the wall in most airports.
Mm-hmm.
Hydrogen, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I know they're working on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then this is a random question, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because you are in Denver. So Denver's CNG, right?
Yes.
And they're one of the few airports in the nation that are CNG.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to stay CNG? Like, where do you see Denver going?
It would make a lot more sense to go electric. But the reason Denver is CNG is because of the bag belt system that was built underground.
Okay.
Between the different terminals, and it never worked properly, never got off the ground. So now they have to run tugs in the tunnels underground, which it was never made for down. So it's bumper cars down there. It's very tight, but they have to be able to move their bags to the main terminals. It's pretty far underground.
Okay.
Again, it wasn't, how am I trying to get this out? They never designed it for tugs to begin with. So if they went electric, it would have to be pretty stout electric, because the pull up out of the underground would be very, very taxing.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, see, I didn't know all that. That's the reason I asked the question. So, yeah.
And I have spoken with the director out there in Denver a few years back, and they are currently in their prospects for, are they going to electrify the airport? Where are they going to implement? But they're right in the middle of a lot of large construction right now, too.
Okay.
So let's get the terminals up, and then we'll make our decisions on that. That's kind of where they were with it.
Gotcha. So what about telematics? Do you all currently utilize telematics on your vehicle fleet?
We have it on a number of our specialized equipment, and we love telematics.
Okay.
Especially if it gives, like, say, a GSE regional manager the ability to go in and look at a piece of equipment and see what's going on with it, to assist a local mechanic, to be able to add it to a queue for monitoring, visibility. Anything that's going to tell us what's going on with the piece of equipment is fantastic. Even more so than like the third-party tracking software, which we utilize that as well. There's just not a lot of pieces out there that have it.
There's not.
No.
Yeah. And so
we'd love it on everything, to be honest.
Oh, well, I'm sure.
We'd like to have it on absolutely everything that's got a motor.
So are you talking about, like, when you're talking about telematics, then is it just kind of the inherent system that comes from certain manufacturers? So, like, I know that TLD, JBT, they all kind of have their own telematics that come on the unit, and you can decide to use it or utilize it or not utilize it.
Correct.
So that's where you are currently utilizing those options when available from the manufacturer.
As much as possible. Yeah.
But you're not necessarily have like a third party that you are using across the fleet.
No.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we'd really like to see, is some utilization across the manufacturers for telemetrics.
Exactly. Because, each kind of has their own system.
You can't have 100 different accounts when you have 30 pieces of equipment you're trying to monitor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to bring them all together in one place. I want to be able to see my entire fleet. No, I got to log into 10 different systems to see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So from our perspective and operation perspective as well, when you're going into examine, scrutinize, adapt, anything you're doing in your daily work, you're logging into a station. Okay. And so we want to see a station at a time.
Yeah.
And so a system that could promote that. To where even if it was third party, but if they could go in to each of our stations and add that to our equipment, that would also be an option too. We do have some third party that we've added for GPS locations and things like that, but it doesn't get us as far as we want to go with it.
Yeah. And it's on a case by case basis.
It's on a case by case basis. The best thing would be is if we've already got an account set up, an employee portal with different levels of permissions.
Yep.
And we get a new piece of equipment in, we put it out on the line, we give it a password from the airport, and it's done. It's in our system.
Gotcha.
That's where we need to go with it.
Yeah. I'm doing a telematics series on the podcast
nice.
this year, where I'm going to interview like 3 different telematics companies.
I'd love to hear everything they got to say right now.
Third party providers, but just to kind of get an idea of what's out there and not show any kind of favoritism or anything towards anyone. So I'm trying to interview 3 or 4 just to kind of see what's out there and what everybody has to offer. So
that'd be great. Look forward to that. We're really interested in it, and the additional cost is well worth it to us.
Yeah.
Because the downtime that you could save off a piece of critical equipment is enormous. If you can talk to the equipment and find out why it's sick.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense to me. So what about autonomous? Is that something that Unifi is looking at? Like, what are your thoughts just in general? What are Daniel's thoughts behind autonomous?
The AI, the marching tugs across the airport.
Exactly, yeah.
Coming to get all the ramp agents. I think eventually it's got to go there.
Okay.
I don't know how challenging that would be to lay track and get it to work in existing airports where there's so much else going on. I think they should beta test that out and try to do an entire airport.
Okay.
With that.
Yeah.
Something new, something to where they can build it fresh and
from the ground up, kind of.
Let's see how far we can get without any drivers out on the ramp. With the advances of AI, it's kind of like the battery technology. The leaps forward in recent years have just been enormous in the technology.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I think the harder challenge would be convincing humans to allow robots to work around them out on a ramp. I think that would be the biggest challenge. I think the technology can do it.
Yeah.
And make a difference and increase times and increase safety. I think it would be a good thing. It's just a very live world out on a ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And getting people into the mindset that, hey, this is going to help you. This is not kill all humans, robots running around trying to steal jobs. That's going to be the difference. Because I think that the mindset out there is there's so many things that are automated in our life already. And when they go out onto a ramp to work, that ownership. When a plane comes into one of our crews on receipt or dispatch, we own that plane while it's there. And there's a lot of pride involved with that. And I know our crews are very big on that. You might not want to give that away too easy.
Yeah.
There's ownership there.
Yeah. I understand that.
More than just a helping hand. There's an ownership issue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting. So I have 2 autonomous companies, solutions companies that are going to be coming on the podcast this year as well.
Excellent.
To talk to me. And we're going to find out more from them and kind of try to figure out how they envision it. But we'll see. I'm really interested to talk to them and kind of see what they think about the technology and where, and when it can be utilized and when we might actually start seeing it, full blown on the ramp.
The reality is I don't think we're going to be able to slow down AI implementing into many areas of our lives.
Yeah, that's true.
It's on the way. The first time I walked into a McDonald's and there was nobody there, I was like, what happened?
Yeah. I wanted the large fry. What happened?
So it's coming. It's coming. And there's a lot of benefits to it. We just don't want to take away from the human effort.
Yeah, agreed. So, I know we talked about electrification, but I guess I'm more curious, when do you think there's a bunch of dates thrown around, right, in the industry? Oh, this will be the date that there'll never be any, internal combustion's dead and we're moving all to electric. What are your thoughts on that? What are we looking at time frame wise? You're at these airports all the time. You have 200 something stations. You're seeing the day to day. What are we looking at?
I think the next 5 years are going to template that.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to entirely get there, in my honest opinion. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to abandon combustion fuel.
Yeah. Altogether.
Not for everything.
Yeah.
The biggest push is going to be through 2028.
Okay.
Where we're doing everything we can at Unifi to be ahead of the curve and try to get as much of it in place as possible. 2025 is supposed to be a very, very big year to where if you don't have a program and you don't have phases together, this is your year to get busy. Well, we're already ahead of that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So we can adapt into what we've already started. For other vendors and GSE providers and things, I think they're going to have to be well on the way by the end of next year.
Okay. And then what do you think about high voltage charging?
Well, again, it's what is the airport providing? Mm-hmm. A lot of places you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't find 3-phase in some of these older, small airports to save your life. If you can get 220 off a bridge, you're lucky.
Okay.
High voltage charging has its own dangers. There's always safety issues there. There's going to be the human element of concern without, there will be additional training. A lot of stuff goes down to training. Training is usually what puts people at peace being around high voltage. Once they understand what it is, because everybody's got an opinion about it when they walk up to a panel and they see high voltage.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not plugging anything into that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
I've seen Back to the Future when he gets blown out.
That's right. That's right. So again, it would be something that would have to be supported by good training, the infrastructure in the airport. I'm just not sure where it would play out very well, other than very large stations like, say, LAX and DIA and stuff like that. I just don't know if it would have much of a relevance. So many of our airports are small, and they've been added to, and they're kind of at the maximum with 2, 3, 4 terminals, and trying to run 100 gates off of a very small setup. So I don't see how that would play out too much.
Yeah,
unless there's a lot of cargo facility and things like that.
So what else do you see going on in the industry that I know you've been traveling this week? Is there anything you've seen that's just kind of popped up in your head, and just any thoughts you have just that you could share with our audience today?
Well, I don't see anything slowing down in the industry. This is the third year in a row to where after COVID, I thought, okay, everybody's able to go outside. Now they're going to take their trips. Everybody's going to do the stuff that they've put off, and they realize life's short, and the flights were flooded, and the increase was enormous. And I thought, well, okay, so the airports were really rough around the holidays, getting people to and from, and it's all over. Now we're going to slow down. That was 3 years ago. We didn't slow down a hick. It just kept going up. So we got to the second year and the same thing. And I had noticed I flew all the way through COVID. I took like 172 flights during COVID.
Oh my gosh. You got lifetime status. They love you. The airlines are like, this guy's still flying.
I was just flying constantly because, everything had to scale down so much, but we still had operations to keep running.
Were you ever on a plane that there's only like one person or two people?
The lowest one was like 12.
Okay.
But it was great. You always had seats around you.
Every seat's first class and there's only 12 people on the plane, right?
Absolutely. But where were we at before that? I forgot.
I'm sorry.
We got rabbit-trailed.
You were just talking about how the industry's growing and you're talking about yeah.
I keep having this impression in my head over the last 3 years. We're going to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get a chance to catch our breath and stabilize. It has never slowed down. It's only increasing and increasing and increasing. We get more and more contract opportunities every week. And we've increased our fleet by probably 20% in the last 3 years. I have probably around 50 needs right now as we're sitting here doing this podcast that I'm not sure where I'm going to get them from in time.
Yeah.
The lead times are very short. Everybody wants to get business rolling right now. And a lot of our customers are wanting either they're coming in new and they're establishing a presence in an airport. And so they want to start right away. There's not much of the turnover. Hey, we had an incumbent. We're going to use you. Now, we do have those bids and stuff out there, too. But a lot of it's just new business, which is great for us. We've had just an enormous amount of growth the past few years, but it has never slowed down. So if somebody wants to be in an industry that looks like it's going to go the distance after COVID, I would get into aviation.
Yeah, it does seem like it's busier than ever. I can't even get a parking spot at MCO anymore when I try to fly out of here.
Terrible.
It's unbelievable. But no, all the flights are fully booked.
Yeah, all flights are full.
It's insane, man. So, I always ask the manufacturers and when they come on the podcast and stuff like that to kind of tell me about the new equipment and all their innovation and all these different things. And so they're able to give the sales pitch. Right. Yes. And we do have airlines that listen to this podcast. So, why would somebody want to choose Unifi as a ground handler?
I'd say it's our commitment to safety and our commitment to our customers I think it's unparalleled. We are the largest airline provider in North America right now. And we have an incredible record for being able to start quickly, establish the needs, and our core commitments felt all the way across the company. We have commitment to being empathetic, integrity, and having passion about what we do. It's from the ramp to every position we have. It's felt across it. There's a lot of support in the company to bring us together. It's an extremely large family.
That's awesome.
And so you bring it down to the local level, a station, a state, the corporate office. It's felt everywhere. It's a great place to work, and people are very passionate.
That's great. I can tell the passion in your voice. So I appreciate you. Yeah, you saying that.
We like what we do. We really do.
Yeah, no, I believe you. That's awesome, man. And I know a bunch of guys from Unifi, and I've always had great relationships with them and fantastic people. So, all right. And then we can't get out of a GSE podcast without asking about a GSE story. I don't know where I came up with this idea, but I feel like everybody's got a great GSE story, and we got to hear Daniel's. And listen, by the way, you've already kind of told me one, how you got in the industry. That is a crazy story. That was one of my favorite, how I got into the industry stories. So I don't know if you can follow that one up, but we can try.
I think I can.
Okay.
So it was back at Wichita when I was first brought in. And again, I started with nothing. I didn't have any idea that we had regional support, that we had a corporate office, knew nothing. And I'd never seen GSE equipment before. And we were coming up on winter, and I had a de-ice truck. And I looked at it and what is this? A fire truck? What is it? Well, it's down. Okay, what is it? That's where I started.
Uh-huh.
And it was I won't say the manufacturer, but it was a 3-burner de-ice truck.
I know which one it was.
Yes, you do. And I got very familiar with it right away, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
It already had 20 years of life on it. And so we met on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And the best thing that happened, so the first winter I did in Wichita, it was just that truck. And that was back when certain individuals still existed in offices, and had a lot of phone communication. So I got to know a couple of those guys. I know you know the two names, but I was predominantly by myself. It was me and that truck in the weather, and one of us was going to win.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear how this turns out. Go ahead.
And so we got through most of the season, and then one Monday I came in, and it was on the board for me to look at, and number 2 wasn't firing. Okay. And I'd already gone through all kinds of CAD cells and igniters, primary controls, just a ton of parts on this already this year. So now I had extra parts on the shelf. I was getting a little more confident about what I was doing, understood how the truck worked, the systems, and how to bluff it to check things. And I'd learned a lot, especially from the manufacturer. And so me and my little confidence went out to the truck, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't go. Igniter was working. The primary control was firing. Couldn't get it sorted. The fuel pump was going. I pulled the top of the heat exchanger off, and there's about 4 foot of fuel in it. But, okay, so they had one go dead, and they just kept the fuel pump on. They just let it run all weekend.
Oh,
yeah. So there was about 4 foot of fuel in it. So I found a way to get the fuel out, but as you know, diesel evaporates about a third of the rate of gasoline, and it's winter. So if it's drier, it's going to it's not drying out.
Yeah. There's
only one option at that point, something we'd like to call a controlled burn.
Oh, it's like in the movie industry.
Yes. A controlled burn.
Okay.
Let's keep that in hyphens there. So me and my little confidence that I had developed with this truck, thought, I'll take it out to the Hammerhead on the airport between banks, and I'll do some controlled burns.
Yeah, there you go.
And I did just that. It got the truck up and running and burned it off. And of course, when you light up a heat exchanger that's been soaked with 4 foot of fuel, it's a little smoky. It's a little fiery.
I believe that.
It's a little orange. It's a little red. Looked like the Batmobile shooting out this. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Flame, smoke,
the old
everything.
school Batmobile too.
Yeah. So I'd fire it up and light it, and then I'd go to the back and I'd let it burn for a little bit, and I just watched it, and I had the fire extinguisher there with me. I was in control of it. I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And so when I'd see it's getting too hot, too much flame, I'd go shut it off, let it cycle out, blow out a little bit, and then I just kept doing these controlled burns. There's no other way to dry it out. It's because the truck needed to be used.
Yeah.
That planes were waiting to be de-iced. So we had to figure something out. And one of the trips as I'm coming back to the truck, I'm looking up at the smoke, looking at the flames, and I see something out of the corner of my eye. And I turn around, and the whole airport is rolling on me. All the emergency vehicles, the police, the fire trucks, everybody out there decided to come out and see what in the world I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that turned into a long week.
SWAT team starts coming through the windows, like that kind of thing.
Just about everything. Everybody was out there. And oh my gosh, I got chewed out so bad by so many people that week.
But did it work?
Of course it worked.
Exactly.
It's
a control burn.
You're talking to Daniel the Manual when it comes to
Daniel the Manual. Oh, that is, well, I didn't have a name for the episode yet.
Don't do that.
And now we officially do, folks.
Well, that's where it came from.
Daniel the Manual.
I thought he would take a de-ice truck out to the Hammerhead by himself and do control burns. That's where that came from.
Okay. Awesome. Well, now we know that's, I think that's the best story I think I've heard on the podcast so far. So
I didn't know if I was going to have a job by the end of the week. I had calls with everybody, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then you got promoted. It's like, hey, controlled burns, guys. This is what you got to do to get promoted. This takes you to the next level. Daniel the
But
Manual.
I can't be the first person that tried that.
No. You're just the first person who got caught trying it.
That's the difference.
Awesome. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I just, we talked about a lot of what's going on in the industry. The thing with production right now is such a big issue. Now, I know with Exceed, we've obviously utilized your services enormously.
Yes.
This past year. And thank you very much. We appreciate everybody. Whoever's listening, if Lindsay's out there, hi. Yeah. We appreciate everybody over there, Javier. And I very much value the relationships I've developed with some of those people over the years. At the end of the day, it is relationships for me.
Yes.
All of the purchasing, the procurement, the contracts, the leases, it's all relationship for me. I'm very excited to continue on and to do something like this with you and get to see you guys for a little bit in person. What is Exceed's future?
What is Exceed's future?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you all keep leasing and renting stuff, and we're going to have a great future. I think that's the no. We are looking also at electrification, and we also feel like we're on the front end of that as well. We have purchased a lot of electric equipment over the last few years, and we are looking to be able to have those units available for when Daniel does have that 60-day startup, Daniel the manual, sorry, does have that 60-day. No, I love this. When you have that 60-day startup, and except for this time, it's for a station that's all electric.
That'd be fantastic.
We're going to have your back on that kind of thing, because that is going to happen, right?
It's going to happen.
It's not, it's not happening all the time right now, but we want to be on the front end of that. So we are purchasing from all of our manufacturers electric equipment, and we're gonna have a lot of it, and we're also going to have many different types. So if you're Unifi and you've never tried the B80 electric from JBT, let's say, we're going to have some of those, and you can try it out in your fleet and rent it, see if you like it. Things like that. So that way, we're not going to just have a whole fleet of X, Y, and Z, whatever, manufacturer.
Right.
It's going to be from a bunch of different ones, and you can kind of try it out, see what you like.
That would be great as a lease option.
Exactly.
And you've probably already noticed that when we do call for lease options, we're looking for a whole gate set.
Yeah.
Most of the time, or a large chunk of, one area or another of it. It's very rare that I just need one piece of. If I'm giving you guys a call, it's because I need a lot of pieces and I just can't get them on time.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing. We're trying to get full gate sets available at the same time. Right.
Because we're trying to do this. So we're trying to put our own gate sets together to have on the ready as well.
Yes. It's
just nothing slows down long enough for us. By the time I get a gate set together, I've already got it parted out over 6 contracts.
100%.
Yeah.
So we're looking at all those different things. We're obviously always looking to grow. We're starting to build out like a rental fleet.
Nice.
Of like older units that are just ready to be rented rather than going to like a long-term lease. So we're really looking at, being having available short-term rentals. So that
would help a lot of people other than even just us. That's needs to be an option more and more because of lead times.
Yeah. And so we have a really young fleet, as you know,
yes.
And we do that because we do a lot of long-term leases, and we want to be able to provide people with newer equipment that have that manufacturer warranty and stuff like that obviously helps you guys out. But then, there's always going to be those short-term things where this tug goes down. Let's use Charlotte again, and you need us to provide you an MA50, but you don't want to pay for a 2023 MA50 rental price. You want to pay for the 2017. Still new, still got the 2.
Put us in something good and used that's a few years old.
Exactly.
Give us a better rate. We only need it for 2-3 months.
Exactly. And Javier and his team in Indianapolis do such a fantastic job of, they bring in that older equipment. They make it look pretty and it runs fantastic, and you're not going to have any problems. So those are the couple of things that we're working on as well. We've recently bought a couple 100 telematics units to start putting on to our fleet. And so you'll start seeing that.
Excellent.
And you can utilize that. So we're doing a bunch of different things over at Exceed, but we definitely appreciate everything we've done with Unifi, and
absolutely.
We love you guys.
That's so critical to as a partner in our growth and our success.
Yeah,
to be able to have those options when you need to put in new equipment into a contract, but you need to get it started.
Yeah.
Those in between options are just absolutely critical, and they've been very key in the success of our growth over the last 2 years. So thank you to you guys very much.
Yeah, man. And then the podcast, right? We're going to look at electrification. We're going to look at autonomous. We're going to look at telematics. We're going to do a bunch of different interviews with a bunch of different people this year. You're our first customer that we've ever had on, and I can't tell you how much this has been the fantastic interview, and I really appreciate it. And I'm just really excited to get some customers on here this year and talk to you, and because you all just have a completely different perspective, especially you with having as many stations as you have and flying across the country the entire, just year after year, even during COVID. You see it all, and it's your day to day, and you live it, and so it's great to hear your perspective.
Well, I appreciate that. And I've enjoyed all the podcasts so far.
Oh, well,
that's why when I saw you at the expo, I'm like, what, want a buyer's perspective?
Yes, yeah. I do. Exactly. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. So, but that's all I have for today. Okay. Do you have anything else, Daniel? Or are you good?
I'm great. I just really enjoyed my visit down here, and it's JBT being able to get a quick tour in was fantastic, and seeing some of the folks down here.
Yeah, we got to see some of your units online, which is
got
always
to
really
see
cool.
some of our equipment online, which is great to see.
Yeah, it is.
I saw a couple of empty spots where, this is where your unit will be.
Why aren't those spots being utilized? We need this stuff. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I mean, we yelled at a couple people, but they'll get over it.
They'll be all right.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
this has been Matt and Daniel the Manual from Unifi. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the GSE podcast. We hope you found it informative and engaging. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues and peers in the ground support equipment community. Your support is invaluable to us. We'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate and review our podcast. Your feedback not only encourages us, but also helps expand our reach within the GSE community. Keep an eye out for more episodes as we continue to explore the dynamic world of ground operations, bringing you the latest trends, insights, and stories from the industry. Thank you for listening to the GSE podcast. Until we meet again, stay grounded and keep pushing forward.